Welcome to our channel Playback AI TV. Today we will be discussing the topic of who decides a recession and how they do it. Okay, everyone can see the economy is a wild ride right now, and everyone is talking about on one word, recession. There are some signs that we might be headed for one. But let's not jump to conclusions just yet. I personally don't think the US is in a recession, but who knows? So, what actually determines if the US is in a recession? Is it a magic chart with all the answers? Well, not exactly. It's not the chart of real gross domestic product, or the real manufacturing and trade sales chart, or even the unemployment rate. No, it's a group of 8 individuals who hold the keys to the kingdom. Introducing the Business Cycle Dating Committee, the group of people who get to decide when the US is officially in a recession. And let me tell you, knowing their decision is key to understanding the economy. Let's sit back, relax, and wait for the word from the wise ones. What is recession? In simple terms, a recession is a period of economic slowdown. It's like when your country's economy takes a little break and things just aren't as bustling as they used to be. You might see things like businesses closing down, people losing their jobs, and a general decrease in spending. It's kind of a big economic hangover. And because it's a big deal in the world's economy, so understanding when it starts and ends is crucial. That's where the Business Cycle Dating Committee comes in. They're a group of economists selected by the National Bureau of Economic Research, or NBER, to help determine the start and end of a recession. The NBER has been doing this for a long time, dating back to the 1920s, and formalized the committee in 1978. The committee is made up of nonpartisan economists, and the number of members can change. Some of the big shots on the committee include former Fed Chairman Ben Bernanke. The goal is to take a balanced and data-driven approach, putting politics aside and just focusing on the numbers. They don't meet often, only when the data shows that the economy might be reaching a peak or trough. That's when they step in to help us understand what's going on. So what are the data they're actually looking at? The NBER defines a recession as a downturn in the economy that affects a large part of the country and lasts for more than a few months. So, the committee keeps an eye on several key indicators to track this economic activity. They look at things like income, employment, real sales, personal consumption expenditures, as known as the stuff people in the US are buying, and industrial production. Basically, they gather all the data they can to paint a picture of the economy and see if it's in a good or bad place. So what are these economists actually looking for when they analyze these different categories of data? Well, there are 3 key things they keep an eye on: depth, diffusion, and duration. Depth refers to how far the indicators are declining. Diffusion refers to how widespread the decline is across the economy. And duration refers to how long the decline lasts. If all 3 categories show deep, widespread, and long-lasting declines, that's a pretty clear sign that a recession is underway. Just think back to 2007, when all these categories took a serious hit after December. But the economy isn't always so straightforward. It's a dynamic system, and sometimes it doesn't play by the rules. The timing of when each indicator peaks can vary a lot. Take a look at this chart. It shows how many months before or after the recession start date that some of these indicators reached their peak. For instance, in 1980, sales started to drop 10 months before the committee declared the peak of the recession. And then in 2020, the committee declared a recession at the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, even though the downturn had only lasted 2 months. The depth of the downturn was so severe that the committee felt confident in labeling it as a recession. However, the way the NBER calls a recession is not the only way people do it. Some people just look at GDP, and if it drops for 2 consecutive quarters, boom, it's a recession. But that's not the full picture, right? GDP only tells you how much goods and services a nation produces, and doesn't give the complete story. Now, the NBER, they have a different way of doing things. They look at different indicators like income, employment, sales, consumption, and industrial production. They're trying to figure out 3 things: how deep the decline is, how far it has spread across the economy, and how long it lasts. If all these indicators show a significant drop, then they'll call it a recession. But it's not always that simple. The economy is like a living thing, and it doesn't always play by the rules. For example, in 2022, GDP did drop for 2 quarters, but employment was still strong, so the NBER didn't call it a recession. The committee usually takes their time to make a call, and they want to be on solid ground before they do so. And that's why when they do make a call, it doesn't have much effect on the current economic situation. It's important to know when a recession starts and ends, both politically and economically. Politically, it helps when evaluating a leader's performance. And economically, it helps to analyze things like interest rates, inflation, and job growth. But even though economists think the U.S. is headed towards a recession, it's hard to say for sure with all the turbulence in the economy right now. And since the NBER is backward-looking, there's no clear timeline on when or if they'll make an announcement. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and leave a comment below. See you soon.